Okay, thank you guys for coming. And this is just being recorded and you are streaming live or not. I'm not going to hold on to any expectations that it is going to. So if you have any comments, please leave them in the Zoom chat. That way during our session, I can respond to them. And I think we got it. Okay, great. So today is about opening the eye of the heart. And just give me a thumbs up, someone, just to make sure, because it looks like things are kind of frozen, just to make sure it's going. And then we can start. Okay. All right. So can you guys hear me? Just give me a thumbs up. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so today we are talking about the eye of the heart. And I am also wanted to let you know in my links, kind of on my posts, I would really appreciate your support for that campaign, The Business of Being, the book that my partner and I wrote. And so as a way of contributing or of giving back, people I know have donated, some people have donated already money for the classes, but I would really support and love your support. And today especially because we are moving in such a window, and I'm sure in this past week, I've gotten so many calls from people of all kinds of things showing up. And just this client that I've been working with for the past 2 months, been working with longer, but you know, she just in a new job and she's been working in this job for 2 months, and she sent me a text, and we've been working the pictures of, you know, things that she's introducing to the corporation, to the company. And people have been responding kind of like deadpan to all of her ideas. And I'm saying, you know what, let's just keep putting the pictures out there because, you know, they'll take the bait. It's kind of like fishing. You have your ideas, you kind of pitch them, you know, whether it's to, you know, people you know or in a corporation. And, you know, she said that, you know, people aren't responding. They kind of dismiss her. She always comes away from meetings feeling so sad, kind of heartbroken because she's not seen, she's not heard. And a lot of times in work environments, you know, it's a reflection of our family unit. And so she is a single mom. She has been doing an amazing job, you know, raising her kids all these years with no help or support. And so this is kind of like the family dynamic for her, though, of where she wasn't seen in her family, she wasn't heard, unless she had to really achieve miraculous things just to get some type of acknowledgement. And so now, you know, in a way, when we think about it, especially in this time, we have our families, we're with our families, but an extension of family is kind of that workspace. You may not see it that way, but a lot of times our heart closes in that workspace because we're not seen, we are not validated. And in her case, it's very interesting kind of what has happened. It's like the 2 months she's been kind of putting these concepts out, no one wants to hear it, they've been dismissing it, and now all of a sudden they have this amazing idea. And the amazing idea is her concepts. And these pictures, you know, we've been working. And now it's like this new program, this new plan that they're launching. And isn't it interesting that they're not involving her? And so when people kind of spin things, what they do is, you know, they won't acknowledge you, they won't see you. And then all of a sudden they have this brilliant idea, and it's the same thing you said to them. And now they're doing it, and now there's no collaboration. So her heart is broken, and it's kind of like, and where we're all kind of coming in this time of how can we really collaborate? How can we be with people? How can we be in an environment that is this supportive, safe, secure, stable environment where we can have our hearts open and where we can be heard, where we can be seen, where we can have our ideas out there, and then, you know, people can collaborate around the idea. Then it doesn't have to become, and I think this is the part of the problem in a lot of corporations, is what happens is, you know, it's dog eat dog. And so you have to have the next idea, and you have to be seen to have your value in that company. And if you don't have ideas, and a lot of people, they're not idea people, but it's kind of like her boss is kind of a pioneer in kind of the business she's in and moving forward. But, you know, when she can really see it, they're stolen ideas. But she's in kind of this rank and position of power where, you know, it seems like she is pioneering everything. When we really want to move, you know, into a new way of collaborating, and in this new way of collaborating, hey, everyone's walking in. In this new way of collaborating, it really is about kind of being in the eye of the heart. Because when we're in our minds, what happens is we see in duality. So, you know, we want our job. We have to survive. We have to look the best. We have to be the best. And so we may just take something, and how we take things is we don't acknowledge someone. And so even her boss, you know, a way of redoing this, and kind of her picture is, I want to be in an environment. I want to be in a family, in a sense of people that truly can collaborate. And what does that mean? Where everyone is identified, where everyone is seen, where people get that hello to what they've done. And it isn't about the one person or the other person, but it is more about kind of like what we talked about in the EnergyWorks, this intention space, kind of focusing on this collaboration and co-creation of kind of the thing that is being created when we have our attention and intention kind of on that diamond space. Then our hearts can open. Then we're all participating in it. And somebody just doesn't steal the baby kind of that she birthed away and is claiming it as their own. And now she's not even working on it. And so, you know, we all need, and we all come to the table with different gifts. Some of us have vision. Some of us are the seed layers. Some of us are the workers that really create that structure to build that vision. So it's so important, you know, that we can all support it, create this environment of love and safety. And the way to do that is by moving in the heart. There is this great quote I saw, or somebody sent me this morning. It is not the eyes that are blind, it is the hearts. And that's from the Quran. And I say, it is the eyes that are blind. And it is where, when you open the heart, when you see from the heart, that is where the magic is. That is where possibilities are. That is where we can start to feel at home. Where, you know, really people at work or even in our families, we want to feel at home. And the way to feel at home is to be seen, to have that magic, to have the possibilities. And so today, you know, I want to look at, how do we create from the eye of the heart? What is the eye of the heart? And last night, it was very interesting. I had this dream. There was a mouse in my dream, like a real live mouse. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I followed it. And then I saw Walt Disney. And I start talking to him. And he starts talking about dreams. And it's very important, you know, in a sense of creating something new. When we have pain, when we're suffering, and the quote from Cinderella, it is, no matter how your heart is grieving, if you keep on believing the dreams that you wish will come true. I'm quoting Cinderella. But since Walt was in my dreams last night, you know, it is, you know, he was the dreamer. He was the imaginative. I know there's controversy about him. And in my dreams, I was saying, hey, you know, look, there's some kind of anti-racism or whatever that you got to, you know, kind of deal with. But beyond that, though, he actually responded with all this magic, with all this insight. And this is kind of what I wanted to share with you today, because in order, when we have pain, when our hearts close, when we have things, ideas, our seeds, our babies are kind of taken away from us. Our heart closes down. And how do we get out of that? How do you get out of pain? It is through pictures. It is through imagination. It is through kind of this magic that can instill hope in us again, that we can get up if we're kicked in the teeth, that we move forward, that, in a way, what happens is when we are trying to resolve something, solve something, we can do it in a new way. We can do it with a new picture. And it usually happens when an injustice takes place. And so what we're all going through in this time, whether it is a family, because a lot of families are fighting, the calls that I'm getting today of couples fighting, the fights are about, the printer not putting the paper right in the printer. Now that can be frustrating, I know. But it's kind of like, the blow up, and it ends in this person doesn't love me anymore because the printer isn't working. So, everything seems to be so kind of blown up, and we're looking at things kind of in duality where we're not unable to really occupy the heart. And in this time, how can we get beyond kind of the mind and the confinement and really not seeing the magic, kind of seeing what's going to be happening, no hope. It is through the heart. It is the new possibilities that are coming. And we have a new moon tomorrow. And what that means is what is coming up for everyone are these old wounds, these old pains, kind of this, things that are coming up with feeling not acknowledged, feeling, let down, feeling like you don't belong. And so if you're feeling kind of your heart aching and in full pain, well, a lot of people are in that space. And so how we can restore this, how we can kind of redo these injustices that have taken place with our life or in our life is we can imagine, we can create. There is, when my son was in the 6th grade, he was going out for the council meeting at school, being on the council meeting. It's 8th graders. There were some 7th graders, but mainly 8th graders. And he did this speech of, I don't know if you remember the movie Napoleon Dynamite, and there was a kid actually in his class that looked like him. He had the curly hair. And so he got up there like Pedro was doing the speech, and the kid starts dancing like Napoleon, and it was hilarious. Anyway, he got on the city council, and his idea that he brought to all these 8th graders, and he's in 6th grade, shy, that let's do Oscar night. Let's create movies, and every class can participate by creating movies. And when he, launched that idea, people thought it was great, but then they kind of overtook it. They didn't let him participate. And he didn't really use his voice, so he was devastated. So he created this film and this movie. It was pretty dark. And here he's going to Catholic school. He was like, I said, you may want to throw a dove in there at the end. It was like, zombie apocalypse. But he was trying to resolve the injustice, kind of how he felt, of, something being stolen, of, not having his voice. And so, so now what we're going to do is when we all have these problems, when we all have injustice, where we can use our heart, the eye of our heart, to really start to see new possibilities, to see something beyond because from where we sit is where we create. And if we're sitting in the mind, then we're going to see that, if I don't have any ideas at work, I'm going to get canned. I'm not valuable. No one will like me. But if we can start to sit and see from the eye of our heart, the eye of the heart sees in wholeness. What does that mean? It's like Walt Disney said, I am optimistic. I am positive, but I'm a realist. So when you sit in your heart, you can see the optimism, you can see the possibilities, you can see and start to imagine dreaming, but also you can see what we call the backspace, the blocks. You can see where you don't feel good enough about yourself, where maybe you haven't been acknowledged, and then there is pain in that space, where you can kind of see what is. And you can not only see the bad and the good, but you could start to see from the dream, the space above, kind of this, everything is created from the dream space first. And then it's brought into reality. And you can see from kind of this lower energy, which is bringing things into mass. So the heart is the ability to see from wholeness, to see from above, below, to see from your intention, what you want, to see from what you don't want, kind of the aspects of positive and negative, receptive and passive. And so just by placing, and I want you to even kind of just imagine going within and seeing an eye in your heart. And as you see that eye within your heart, I want you to just see how it gives you courage. Because to live your dreams, to live beyond what you know, you have to have courage. And this eye and the heart has to be open. And just for a moment, start to breathe kind of this fire igniting, this spark in your heart. Imagine it's lighting. And as it starts to illuminate, see the beauty, see the wonder, see kind of the sparkles and the curiosity. Start to see kind of life around you like you've never seen it before. As if you go into nature and it's all new. Everything is magic. Everything is happening. It's wonder. When you open the eye of the heart, then now new possibilities can be seen that you've never seen before. And so how to open the eye of your heart when you've had this pain, when you've not been seen, when your voice hasn't been heard, when you haven't really been acknowledged or it's been stolen from you. By placing your attention within the eye, what happens is that dream space, source, that magnetic field starts to come within your heart. And this beautiful kind of source energy, which is dreamland, which is dream, comes down and it starts to mix with your heart. And then when you open your heart, this energy from Mother Earth is the reflection of source in form. Like her beauty, look at all of the amazing things. She is blooming more than she ever has. And allow these two fields, kind of the, mystical, the magical, and form starting to overlap. And where they overlap, they create this eye. And if you place your attention on this eye, you can feel the energy and the fields kind of spinning and moving, where you're opening up, you're opening yourself up to see from wholeness, to create from magic, from the unknown. And when you open your heart up, it becomes this portal. People say, I'm afraid of the unknown, because the unknown, I'm not sure where I'm going. But in this system of EnergyWorks, by opening up the heart, it just allows magic to come in. It allows you to see actually what is real, to see and to be playful, to spontaneous create, for things to come out while you're focused kind of right out in front on your intention. The intention space that we talked about is very important, because in creating, it's about the mind, but it's more about the heart. It's about all actually kind of systems. And what we need to do is we have to aim our attention on our intention, aiming our attention on our intention. Kind of, what is that dream? What is that goal? And by focusing on it there, it starts to direct this energy coming in the vertical, moving you forward. So no matter what happens, no matter what obstacle comes and maybe blocks you, that the heart is propelling you, moving you forward. The fuel of that backspace is keeping you on path. And so now just focus in your heart, and we're going to work the dream space, because I always tell clients that when they especially say, well, I don't know what I want, I say, what don't you want? But more importantly, I want you to tune into, like last night, my dream. It started when I went through the door. I saw a mouse. Now I'm talking to Walt Disney. He actually was telling me about his death. And he was telling me just about his creations. And all this creative energy was happening. It's like you could feel the space and the heart and the energy of really being seen. So when you're around a creative, everyone's creative because everyone is acknowledged. And this energy then is saturated in this time that we are in, where people think that they can't create, where this pandemic, no, you're not seeing. So by moving into the heart, just move into the heart now. And I want you to imagine like you just move out, kind of like you drift. It's very important to create anything, you have to drift. And I imagine this like the kite space, where from my heart I have this connection, and I allow my dragon kite kind of just to move way out and just to drift and dream. And this is, we'll have to do a class in the dream space, because all dreams are created in the dream space and then they're brought in. And as you kind of allow that dragon to fly, or any kite that you see, kind of just let it drift way out, way out. The further it goes, kind of the edge of the universe, the better, because we don't know what's out there. We are open. And just by moving kind of and drifting and letting it go, have you ever recognized when you start to drift, your eyes will shift up? Notice if your eyes shift to the left or they shift to the right. Kind of like when you wake up in the morning, kind of still in that dream space. This is a very important space, because this is where there is energy, magical energy, that you can fully then bring into the body. So just for a moment, move through the doorway and into the dream realm. And in the dream realm, you are just asking for your new dream, without even knowing what that dream is. And in asking that new dream, you may see a color. And I was asking actually before I went to bed last night, and I had this whole evening with Walt Disney, just about imagination and creation. And really, he was very connected to the heart, because what was he dealing with? What was his backspace pictures? He didn't come from necessarily a great family. I don't know his whole history, but I was reading his pictures last night. Didn't come from a great family, wasn't really seen, was insecure, wasn't really validated. And so what he wanted to create and give people was this magical experience. His intention was, I want to create a beautiful family space for everyone to play in, to be in, where families can be together. And isn't it interesting that we're all in this family space right now, kind of all together, but it may not be the magical kind of dream space that when we're in our minds, it can be a lot of fighting over the printer is broken. and so, this dream of family in our workspace, having the energy of the feeling. He had some great quote about, I think it was in Nemo, when Dora said, I know I'm home, when she was talking to Nemo, because it's the way I feel. It's the feeling. And so open your heart, move and drift kind of in this dream. And as you're flying and being like, I always imagine in this garden, in the Garden of Eden, because the garden is really here. And in this garden, everything is growing and thriving. Your dreams are hanging off trees, low-hanging fruit. It's like things are just spontaneously coming up. And see your family, see your new family too. Meaning in this time from last Friday, things may have lit up for you because we have to choose in this moment. Are we going to be in relationship and duality, where we see others as bad and us as good, or where we take ideas and don't acknowledge? And we have to choose wholeness, because then we're in a family where we can collaborate, where we can celebrate, where we can have this magic and this play and this creativity, where we are spontaneously creating and playing. And this is real, truly all families want to be. And to access it, you imagine the above and below overlapping in the heart. And it keeps, that eye keeps this space open so that you can start to experience then the magic, the dreams coming into the physical form and this heart area, while focusing kind of in front of you like a car, driving toward the horizon, to the diamond, to the intention, so that we're taking action, we're moving forward, we're, really propelling ourselves. And while we're getting kicked in the teeth, learning these painful lessons, notice how the heart starts to close. And if the heart closes, heaven and earth aren't here. What is Disneyland? It's like the happiest place on earth. Isn't that interesting? Really, it is heaven on earth, experiencing heaven on earth. Just place your attention within your heart. And when that heaven, bring in your dream, bring in earth, and really solidify, focus an intention in your heart. Solidify, like with that eye, that intention. And feel the courage. Feel your determination. Feel that fire and that passion. Feel that spark that it's igniting in your heart to create beyond what your intention is, beyond what you know. Feel kind of the dream energy moving in, that magic, where you can start to see a new possibility. Like today, when you look at your life, when you walk in your home, when you're looking at your family, like Disneyland, and I've always said this throughout time because my family always goes to Disneyland. We've been to Disneyland so many times, but they set the space. It's the magical place on earth. Whether, I know a lot of people don't like Disneyland because they get overwhelmed, but if you can see it, the magic, kind of the setting the space, kind of where, people are in the vibe of feeling like it's a family. Like that's what he was creating. And that's what he was talking to me about in my dream last night. Kind of like where everyone now in society, we need to create this family and this support and this love where we're all seen with our ideas, our voices, our creativity. And where we can create this beautiful community, where we have magic. And in it then, it is about what we're creating, not about having to be seen or not seen. That this magic then, the eye of the heart is focused on this magic happening out here, kind of in that diamond space. And so feel your intention solidified in your heart. And this will give you the courage to see from the eye of your heart. Because if you see from your eyes, you will be blind. We have to see from both. But, I always shut my eyes when I'm reading people. I'm not looking at them. I'm not reading their facial expressions. I'm seeing, I'm looking at the energy. I'm feeling the energy, how that energy moves. And so now I want you to see from that eye, let that eye, this is the next evolutionary jump. They say the third eye is opening the clairvoyance, but the next evolutionary jump is the eye of the heart. And if you can imagine kind of that popping out of your heart and opening up, now you are calling in heaven on earth, calling in the happiest place. We are the happiest place on earth. That we can bring the happiest place on earth in our homes, in our families, in our society. And so let's just now, like with that intention, project it out that you have courage, you have strength, that you never give up on your dream, that you are always moving forward to your dream, that when you get kicked in the teeth, it's kind of funny kind of saying, just because our creative energy is in our throat and our mouth, right? And that's creativity kind of in the dream space. The lower chakra, the second chakra, is about manifesting it. But it's like, this is going to move you forward. There's always something we learn from our backspace, from all those old pains and wounds of being hurt as a child in our family. And we're all collectively trying to create a new family, and really where we're going to work now, who we're going to be with, who we are going to work with. And so place another intention in your heart, in the eye of the heart. And from this intention, just see it as a color. It's my dog. And now I want you to let that color just move up, kind of like on a kite, just fly it way up. And let it go way out there to connect into the magic, to connect into miracles, to connect. We are a creator because we were made from the creator, to really be in the energy of creation. That we are in this time of new creations to be born. Let it go into a creation of getting, the resolution of this. Let it go into a creation of new medical miracles. Let it go into a creation of a voice of what you have to say, or the song that you sing. Let your creations go of what you have to write, or whatever you may not even know. Just let it go into the dream and allow the universe, allow the creator then to bring in this magic, this miracle. In this time of where we are in agreement of creating in wholeness, so we are all seen, we are all acknowledged, we all are connected, even if our wounds will separate us, kind of pull us out. And so let this be our dream, and allow to this energy from the earth, from Mother. She is heaven on earth. She is form. And allow and see now in the world around you, kind of all form, all beauty, all your intentions. See, like my book, our book with my partner, manifested. See your songs produced. See, your creations. I see all of your creations. See it, we are collaborators. And now is the time to fully collaborate on so much more. And we are asking kind of like all collaborators to come, in this collective that we're in, so that we can create beyond what we know. And so today, if you can just place your attention within your center, kind of the eye on your heart, and just imagine, and just to ask questions. I want to see new possibilities, magic, miracles. It is with that kind of question that begins to create new dreams. And see, the dreams are so important, because I remember my friend and I were writing this screenplay, and we were both kind of walking on the mountain, kind of crying how this was, maybe it was 2 years ago, how our life sucked. And, it was like all these things were happening. She was on welfare and it was just this and that. And we started to laugh. And then we started to create these stories. And then our stories started happening. They started to manifest. And it is with story, it is with imagination, a new reality is born. So send me your intentions. Tomorrow is the new moon. We have moon magic tomorrow night. And go to my website at KimberlySimo.com and join me. This is a collective of our new realities, our new intention. And so that way we can all be co-creators and see each other. We can be a family together in wholeness. And that way our hearts can be open. We can feel safe and secure. And so tomorrow is a big time because it is the fire, the energy of fire, which is going to light our hearts on fire so that this magic can come in the world. And you know, we can be the creators. We can bring in the happiest place on earth, like Disney said. We can bring in heaven on earth. And I see all of your dreams. I see them in reality. And I see the eyes of your heart open, focused, and it has courage that you move forward, that you take action. And I see that you are moving beyond those backspace blocks, getting kicked in the mouth or whatever. I see that as the fuel that propels you forward, no matter what it looks like now. It kind of looks bad now, but that's because we're seeing from the mind. So see from the heart, see from wholeness, and text me, or I'm on Zoom. So if anyone has questions about the eye of the heart, they can message it in Zoom. And if anyone has a question on Instagram too, let me know, or you can unmute yourself on Zoom here. And I'd love to, if you have an issue like my client today where we started to talk about, send me your issue and I can address that. And I know I'm going to reply to another issue that came up with my client, Aaron. I haven't forgotten. Anyway, so is there any questions?
Well, first of all, Kim, I just want to say that it doesn't look like the Facebook actually did go live.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to, that. Okay. That was so awesome. So awesome. And I just want to let you know, friends of mine and collaborators that I'm working with, some of whom you know actually, we are talking so much about conscious capitalism right now.
Yeah.
Right? How do we bring the divine into our work? Because our work is our joy, right? Our work is like playing if we're doing it with people that we love to work with, right? And if we're doing good work that is bringing healing and wellness and lightness and joy to the world, right? So I'm just, you talking about this just like literally right now just feels like such a reinforcement to me of keep the faith, because this is where we want to go.
Yeah.
Things are coming undone, but new things are coming in, and keep the faith.
That's right.
We're going to do it differently, right? And I can't wait to read your book. Can I read? You should put a little snippet out for us. Yes. We can read a little.
I will.
Excited.
Go to the businessofbeing.org. It has all the chapters. It has all the
Put that right down in the chat now, Mama.
It has a lot of the information. Not everything is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but right. That is what Cinderella said. Keep faith. The faith and the hope. And because then we can create our dreams.
Oh, and my favorite princess, by the way, love Cinderella. Yeah. And really, it's like the feminine is coming up now as the Cinderella almost, right? We've been in the attic, we've been in the basement, and we're going to the party now. Seriously. Yes. So I love Disney coming in.
Well, that's right about the feminine, because, the feminine usually gives birth, but isn't seen, isn't recognized. It's the fuel. And we have to acknowledge that feminine within all of us, and the creative, the creator, bringing things to form, bringing
the
things
Shakti. We bring the
Yes.
Shakti to the Shiva, right? Yeah.
Yes, let me see. There's another question here on creating space for new employment opportunity. Do I just go into the kite space? Hey, Doris. Yes, to go up to the dream space, kind of like put yourself in the eye of the heart and allow yourself to drift and allow yourself to do it before you go to bed. And you'll go through the doorway. Say, I'm going through the door. You'll drift. And in there, I want you to create it, you know, not from having to get a job, but truly what your heart wants, truly that passion and that miracle space. And then when you wake up in the morning, I want you to bring in kind of the above, the creator, and bring in the earth, because I always get my updates from the earth every day. Open it with the eye of the heart, and then start to see from there, like place your attention there, because now you'll start to see new possibilities based on that space. It'll give you access to the Garden of Eden, which we're in. We are in the Garden of Eden, and those who see it are the ones who receive it. So it's a matter of seeing. So, and I know it's hard when our hearts hurt. So, you know, we'll have class tomorrow, sending so much love and support, you know, to all of our hearts. Is there any other questions too? Anyone else? Or you can type it in if you, let me see, here is another question. Yes, yes. Okay, so thank you so much for joining, and click on that link below. And oh wait, let's see, okay, that's it, I think. So much love to everyone, and be creating in the greater whole. All right, love you.